Hello, everybody, and welcome to The High Road. I'm your host, Noel C. Blundell, with my learned colleague over here, Remington Liam Blundell. How are you, mate?
Good. Good morning.
How you been?
I've been busy.
Yeah, you've been busy. Tell us a few things that you've been doing.
Just flat out with a bit of work, trying to get our business going.
Yep.
Trying to squeeze in seeing people and keeping friendships and relationships going, all that stuff. So just been a bit busy with all that, but I'm here. I'm on the podcast and everything as well.
That's fantastic, mate. That's good. Yeah, it is. It's challenging, isn't it?
Yeah, trying to balance everything. Yeah, with Easter and all that jazz. So yeah,
it is. It is. And working on a small business and getting that up and off the ground. And
doesn't happen overnight.
No, it doesn't. But small steps will get you there, mate. Small steps, and appreciating and rewarding yourself for achieving those small steps will certainly get you to attain that major goal that you're chasing. Keep that in mind. We'll speak about that in the future. I think we have in the past.
Yeah, we have.
I think we will speak about that in the future. Anyway, today we just want to have a bit of a chat about building confidence to attain your goals and how to move forward.
Confidence building.
If you want to achieve something really big, how do you do that? How do you go about that? Do you reckon that's a challenge or what, Rem?
Building confidence for sure.
I mean, attaining big goals.
Oh, yes.
We've spoken about that before, though, haven't we?
Yeah, in our goal setting podcast, we spoke about that. But now we're speaking about how to build confidence.
Yeah, well, along those lines. So, firstly, how do we, question number one, how do we build confidence? You know, sometimes people can struggle with confidence. I know I've struggled with that in the past. Have you?
Yeah, I'm going through a bit of it right now, actually.
You know what? One of the biggest things is accept that you're going to be a beginner. Accept that you're going to be terrible at whatever you start, whatever your goal is. Accept in the beginning you're going to be terrible. You'll probably be embarrassed in one way or another. So I think if you actually get a grip on that in the very beginning and accept that you're not going to come out of your corner with all guns blazing, so to speak, for want of a better metaphor. But if you get what I mean, you're going to when we're going to start anything new. Of course, we're starting that because we don't know anything about it. There's something we want to pursue. So in the beginning, you're going to be terrible, right?
Yeah, that's all normal.
Don't let that put you off.
Definitely not, yeah.
Don't let it put you off. Accept that. Okay, I'm going to be terrible. So if someone says, oh, look, you can't do that, well, that's okay. You go, well, I'm a beginner. I have never done this before. You'll find the people around you who are giving you guidance or standing by your side or who has offered to assist you to attain your goal will be very welcoming. They won't be there to make judgment because they'll understand that you're only just starting out. At least you're there having a go and moving forward. I think that is brilliant. And I think the people that are showing you and guiding you and mentoring you to attain your goal will know that and be very encouraged by your enthusiasm to have a go, regardless of your skill base.
And they don't want you to be terrible at something forever either.
That's correct.
So
you're there to pick
it's in
up
their best interest to...
That's right, to pick up the skill.
Exactly.
And so keep that in mind. Don't be so hard on ourselves as we go into taking steps towards achieving our goal. Put yourself in environments where you're going to have opportunities to see how others achieved that goal that you're pursuing. Go and find people who have done it before. Go and have a look at examples, role models and mentors and start to ask them, how did they move through their processes to achieve the goal that you want to achieve? If you identify that goal, it has been achieved in someone else. I think taking those initial steps are very, very handy. And, of course, we're not going to attain our goals unless we get off the couch or get out in front of the game, turn the game off, turn the computer off, get out into the community, start finding people that are achieving goals like the ones we would like to achieve and start talking to them. It's not going to happen for you until you get yourself out of your comfort zone. Yeah?
Yeah, of course.
So until you do that, and that's the hardest part, Rem, really, isn't it? To get up, get off your bum and get going, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's what I've kind of realised in things that I want to do is that if you want to become good at it and exceptionally good at it, you have to eat and breathe it, live it, eat, live, breathe what you want to do.
Yes, and that will come. That will come.
Watch it, think about it, research it, read it. You got to like live it pretty much. It's not just something that you want to do. I guess half-assed. It's got to be full on if you want to become really good at it. That is.
Yeah, and as you get rewarded along your journey with picking up attributes which help you get a bit closer to attaining your goal.
Yep.
That's what motivates you. That's what inspires you. That's what keeps you going. And you enjoy it more. So the more you attain a attribute, skill, or quality, I think the better you feel about yourself. And the better you feel about yourself, the more you enjoy it. The more you enjoy it, the more you'll be motivated to pursue and take another step forward. That is ultimately how you attain big goals.
Yeah.
Don't look at the end picture. Although the end picture is good to keep in your mind, but look at the small steps moving forward.
So just having a vision is one of the main confidence boosters here.
Absolutely.
Is that what we're kind of on about?
Yeah, have a vision, definitely, because that underpins why you're moving forward. And that gives you the rationale to why you're pursuing what you're pursuing, really. Certainly. Yeah, I've got another question here. How do I get my head in the right place to move forward? Got any ideas?
Setting small steps to build up bigger ones.
Yes.
That's what you mentioned before. Getting your head in the right. Is that right? Getting your head in the right place. Just take smaller steps to work up to your bigger leaps.
Yeah, I think so. I think also what is really important that is if in our minds we close our eyes for a minute and we actually have a bit of a think and a feel what it'd be like to attain that goal, to achieve your vision. What would that actually feel like? How would you be recognised and be validated? How do you see worthwhile validation in your mind? Because that puts you in a mindset of actually making it achievable. You see it in a realistic mindset, and it sets your mind, your frame of mind, and ultimately manifests in your language and in your actions about you're going to achieve this. So, neurological pathways are very important. We've spoken about neurological pathways in the past.
Yep.
And how we create new pathways in our brain. That actually happens physically once we start to think in one way, shape or form. But just sitting down, taking a bit of time out and having you think about your vision and having you think about who you would be when you achieve that and concentrating on that feeling and getting connected with that feeling. And getting connected with the person who has achieved that vision, I think gets your mind in a right space to move forward with that. What do you think?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And also clarifying what you want to do. Clarify it, make it really clear, and then take smaller steps as well.
It's always good to write it down and have a bit of a journal, do a bit of a plan. I know I'm a big one for planning and writing stuff down, and we've gone through that process, haven't we?
Yeah. And
we're going to go through another process of writing things down and making a plan. We're actually manoeuvring ourselves at the moment into a position to actually sit down and write an extensive business plan of where AIM Motivation Empowerment Network is actually going to go, how it's going to be implemented. But that'll be a working document. I'm quite looking forward to that process. What about you?
Oh, I am definitely, and that's a goal that we're currently undertaking now.
Yes, correct.
And we have to take small steps.
Yes, correct. We do. We are taking small steps at the moment. So we're actually living by example. Actually, we're actually speaking from lived experience here, and we are going to make mistakes, and we are going to trip over. We are going to fall over. We're going to search around blindly while we search for those threads to grab hold of, to pursue, to take us to the path of attaining our bigger goals.
Yeah, embracing adversity is all part of the journey.
Absolutely, but that's the learning journey.
Yeah.
As we've spoken about before, challenges are gifts.
And it's essential for growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, absolutely. That's one of the underpinning visions of mine is that we continue along the pathway to continual growth and learning. That's what it's all about, mate. Right? Anyway, so yeah, that's probably a good tip to get your head in the right place. Question number 3. Okay, how do you make your belief systems better? How do you
That's a good one.
look at your programming, right? Your belief systems to change them? Because a lot of times you think to yourself, "Oh, I'd like to set this. I would like to set this goal and attain this goal," and you think then immediately you think to yourself, "You can't do that," right? Don't you?
Yeah.
And you think, are you mad? That's what you think to yourself anyway.
Changing your belief systems to pursue something.
Yes. How do you do that? I
I
think
haven't really thought of it like that.
it's interesting, isn't it?
Well, believing that you can do it's probably a good start.
Yes. Well, if you start to get down that negative self-talk road, I think it can be very destructive and stop you and us from taking the initial first steps to attaining our goals.
Yep.
You'll never attain your ultimate goal or your vision if you don't take the first step. Confucius say, journey taken around the world begins with first step. And I think that applies to just about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Well, undertaking a new belief, you also got to banish the old one.
Yes. Well, ultimately, but you have to that new belief has to be pretty well reinforced, and there has to be a realisation that goes along with that, and backed with evidence, right, and conviction, before you will take that new belief on and disregard the old one.
Do you think some people also do it in a reverse way? Instead of believing that they can do it and then doing it, they do it and then realise the belief in themselves.
Absolutely. And that builds confidence.
Yeah.
Right? Yes, absolutely. And I think that's the more common direction people take, as opposed to the opposite. I think you're right. Yes,
yep.
I do. And I don't think that's such a bad thing. If you go into it and think to yourself, "Oh, I can't. Oh, I've done this before. I don't know how I'll go," and then I think that's great. You push into that. You lean into that as hard as you can, right? Because when you get out the other side, you'll shock yourself. Now, I've done that a number of times. I have had a few failures, as we all do, right? Failure is a gift. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
Because it is a gift. Even a failure, when you're trying to attain your goals, is a learning process. Because you come away with the experience. And when someone comes up to you and says, "Hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that," which is the exact thing you did and failed, you can offer them the information. "Well, I did that and failed. But when I did it this way, I tacked left or I tacked right or I did something different, it worked."
Yeah.
Right? So you might be able to pass that on. But you've taken on the experience. And this is the collection and the building of your maturity and your experience base to move forward and deal with life's issues as they come up, right? Because as you go through life, you're presented with issues all the time. What happens is when you get into a mature age of your 30s and 40s and 50s and beyond, a lot of those things repeat themselves, and you can speak to those experiences with conviction. That's why I suppose that's some of the beauty and the benefits of maturity, and that's why it's most worthwhile talking to people who have already walked the path that you are choosing to walk, because they have a bank of experience that you will learn from. You will learn from it, be it the path that person's takes is not the one I want, or the path that person's taken, I need to know every bit about that, right?
And in regards to mindset, remaining open-minded about what they've
Absolutely.
experienced.
Taking action.
Yeah, and actually listening to it.
I find reading books in relation to that, or motivational books, very, very helpful, especially first thing in the morning. That's very, very, very helpful. Action. Get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Put one foot in front of the other. As I said just previously, get off the couch. Turn your computer off. Get out of your comfort zones, because you will find every excuse under the sun not to do it. Absolutely. That's your fear belief system. That's your fears. That's your fear of failure. That's the little devil on your shoulder going, "You can't do it. You are hopeless."
So facing fears could be a mindset.
Facing fears.
Yeah.
Yes. It is. And I think if you are feeling butterflies in your stomach and you're feeling a little bit of fear, push into that, because that's where the big rewards are.
Yeah.
That's where the big rewards are, actually. And you'll learn something about yourself. Create outcomes you haven't done before, I think is a good one. right? Because once you start creating things that you haven't done before, you get a sense of achievement and a sense of reward. Once you get a sense of reward, that readjusts your belief system, and that inspires you and motivates you to go forward. Hang around people who drag you up, not drag you down. Now that's a very good mindset. I watched a motivational video the other day on YouTube with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Right, I'll be back.
That guy,
you know him?
Yeah, I know of him.
Mr. Universe. It was really good. I like to not follow the celebrity path a little bit. I take a lot of stuff that comes out of Hollywood with a grain of salt. It's entertainment, and that's what it is, right? But I did follow this little thread of Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I found it very, very interesting. And like he was Mr. Universe and went from Austria into America at 20 years of age, because he was so determined with his business, with his vision, that he wanted to leave a little town in Austria and not be a farmer and go to America. That's where he wanted to go. And he really admired one of the movie stars that he used to see on the front of a magazine who was a Mr. Universe. So he started to lift everything he can and got in the gym for 4 and 5 hours a day and become Mr. Universe. I think he was 20 in the United States, went on to be the governor of the fourth biggest economy in America, Los Angeles. Like a very popular guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's amazing. I didn't know this stuff either. Apparently he's just released a book. And he still works out, and he's well into his 70s. So, and he looks great. So anyway, he said, in relation to hang around people who drag you up, not down, he said, when you start your journey, you will get naysayers. You will get people that knock you. You'll get people that think you're ridiculous. They will vilify you. They'll say you're stupid. What they are actually speaking from is their own fear base, because they don't believe they could achieve that themselves. And he said, don't listen to the naysayers. Not for a second. He said, F them. They're all assholes. That's what he said.
Wow.
He said, forget that and move forward. And I mean, he was in front of a crowd of like about 5,000 people. I was really surprised. He's A, using that language, B, coming out so blatantly and going, don't listen to them. They're only going to drag you down. So there's a bit of a message there. Hang around people who drag you up, not down.
It's a good piece of advice.
I think so. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, cut out the people that don't want to see you improve yourself and go forward. Because I read this thing that was just so true, just something catchy and short. It's like people are gonna you're gonna lose people in life the more you upgrade it.
That's funny, because I read something along those lines too, and that was a really high figure too. 99% of people are going to repel you because you're starting to upgrade your life.
Yeah,
I read something along those same lines, because I'm always looking around at motivational inspiration in one way or another and how people apply that and want some really good tips. I was a bit surprised about that one, because I'm a firm believer that if you make a friend, you make a friend for life.
Yeah.
But apparently there's issues there. So and when you start to improve your life to pursue big goals, I think you really challenge other people's belief systems and values. And if you step into the breach of pursuing your goals, I'm talking big goals, I'm talking degrees, businesses, travel, stuff that's really scary, like sell everything and backpack around the world for a couple of years, right?
Yeah.
You can say that to, you can go and say that to 20 people, and 19 of those people will be, you're doing what? Right? It does not compute. Out of those 19 people, you probably find about 60% of them goes, I'd love to do that, but I'm too scared ever. And the other 40% will be going, you are absolutely mad, right?
Yep.
So, you get differences there, but 19 out of those 20 people will be very scared of doing that, right? Because they're looking through their lens, through their mindset, and that is a very difficult task for them to take on because of their mindset, right? So some of those people won't talk to you again because you're just too scary, and your goal setting is just too much to handle, And I get that. I can appreciate that. And that's okay. But I was a little bit surprised anyway. I was a little bit surprised. But that's what they say. Once you start to upgrade your life, the people that you have been associating with to that point in your life before you upgrade your life, right? You've all been on the same page, right? So you've decided to turn a page and launch off in another direction. Obviously, you'll float apart. You probably know those people for the rest of your life. You still get on more very happily and well, but you just go off on different paths.
It's just fascinating because some people like that won't pursue long-term goals or won't bother looking within to improve their life on a different trajectory.
Because they're happy and they're in their comfort zones. Right?
Happy and in comfort zones. Mindset's a huge one. Scared of failure would probably be the main.
I think you're right there.
Motivated to sit comfortably.
I think you're right there. Fear of failure is I think up there as one of the tops, and I think what takes the chair beside fear of failure at the top of that structure is shame.
Yeah, okay.
People don't want to be shamed, particularly men. You don't do that. So yes, mate. Fear of failure and shame are at the top. So that's that, and the combination of those two emotions is what stops people moving forward with their goals. That's why comfort zone is a really good place to be. No, I don't want to do that. I'm happy. I'm just happy doing what I'm doing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get a degree. I don't want to go around the world. Right? Leave me alone. I can handle this. Right? That's fine. That's fine. But some of us are looking for a little bit more. Some of us want to push through some metaphoric bubbles to see what's on the other side. I know I'm very much like that. I've been curious and inquisitive since the day I could stand up and open my eyes and pay attention to what's going on in my environment. I want to know everything about everything. I have always been the same. I am still that way. And that's just me. And, that might not suit some other people, but that's fine. I don't mind. And I'm happy to share whatever I learn too. That's why I'm sharing with you today. Anyway.
Next question.
Next question, number 4. This is a hard one. And I really don't know how to solve this one. You might be able to put some perspective in this one. Number 4, how do I become a morning person?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
well,
wow.
Routine would be a very, very good start.
Yes. Did you know there's a book out there, Start Every Day, the 5 a.m. start, or the Start Every Day at 5, or My Day Starts at 5? I don't know who the author is. I'd love to get a copy of that book. And if any one of you out there have read the book or know it, can you please send us a text or PMS or something about the name and of the author and the name of the book, because I'd really like to have a look at that. Now, I know Mr. Peterson, Jordan Peterson, speaks very highly about getting out of bed at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have done it in the past and found it very rewarding. It's a very, very peaceful time of the day. Actually, many, many years ago, I used to be, believe it or not, I used to be in the baking industry. And so a baker's day usually starts, the first shift usually starts somewhere between 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. I know there's a lot of pastry bakers out there that start at midnight. And then the second shift usually come in between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. It's a very interesting time of the day because because we are largely nocturnal beings. We all sleep between the hours of generally 11 and 5, 11 and 6. It's very quiet. There's no noise anywhere. The whole community quietens down. But you can be very productive in that period of time.
Yeah, the most productive.
And when you're so productive, those hours between 1 and 7, say 1 a.m. and daylight, 7-ish, 6:37, or 3 a.m. and daylight, absolutely fly. They just fly. It's amazing. I don't know whether it's so peaceful and quiet you can actually concentrate on what you're doing and then you get involved. I personally used to like the production area. I ran the production area, and I actually used to have a team under me, and got so involved in the production process. I enjoyed the production process. I enjoyed producing a quality product, and was very successful at that, producing a very good product. But I was getting so involved in it that the time would pass very easily. So how do you get up because if we don't have to get up at 5 o'clock, we don't have to set our alarms. We don't. I mean, we usually set our alarms 2 minutes before. Well, I know people that set their alarms at like 5 to 9, and then get in the car at 2 to 9, they speed to work and get there at 3 past 9.
Yeah.
Right? 3 minutes late. Some people I know, like my wonderful wife, she likes to be out of bed 2 hours before she's due anywhere, just to go through a process of, sitting up, waking up, having a cup of tea, doing all that sort of stuff. And I think that's a really good trait. But how do you get out at 5 o'clock in the morning? The other thing I find about getting out of bed early, I have done it, is within a very short period of time, you're very, very bright and fresh. It's a great time to study. Right? If you are doing any sort of academic research or anything along those lines. It's very productive because it's very quiet. Time does move very fast, right? But by the time it's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, when everybody else is starting to filter out of bed and get up and start moving around, you're fresh, very fresh. Yeah, you're bright. Everything's firing. You're on top of everything. You've done in your emails. You've done everything you want. You want to read stuff. You were up on what, you might have a meeting that morning. You're up on that. You're sorted. You showered. You're dressed. Fed. You sort of look around for the day to start. And it sort of extends your day. It extends the productivity nature of your day as well, because you're ready to go at 7 o'clock. Instead of climbing out of bed, you still got to shower and drink and eat, all that sort of stuff, right? But if you've done that 2 hours prior, you're ready to go.
I did a couple of early study mornings. Used to fall asleep at 10, and then I'd, without an alarm, just wake up at 3 or 4, and then sit up in my bed and work till about 7. And then when everyone was getting up, I went back to bed and napped for a little bit.
Yeah.
And those hours went so fast, and I could read a lot more and take in a lot more.
Yes, this is what I mean. Your cognitive ability and your cognitive processing is a lot sharper, funnily enough. And for me, nowadays, on an empty stomach, don't eat, have a cup of tea, keep your stomach empty, keeps my cognitive processing and my cognitive load ability really high.
Yeah. So, like, becoming a morning person, despite all the benefits, it comes with probably a consistent bedtime and a consistent wake-up time. Because some people say, I could never wake up at this time. You only got to do it for, like, maybe a week. Some people even less, and your body will start automatically waking up at that time.
Yes.
It's not forever. It's not, you feel terrible for a couple of days and might need a 20-minute energy nap in the afternoon or something. But you only need to do it for a week.
Yep.
And now I've been getting up I've been slacking lately, actually, getting out of bed at like 8:30, 9. But I used to get up at 6:30, 7 all the time, and then I would forget to set an alarm, and my body would be awake at almost 7 on the dot.
Yep.
A little bit after without even thinking about it.
Yep.
You do get used to it. Wouldn't even need the alarm.
You do get used to it, definitely. And it's a little bit harder in the winter. It's cold.
Yeah.
So I've done that too. All I do is when I get up, I have a big pile of clothes beside my bed, and I put on 3 or 4 layers. 3, 4, 5, 6 layers. Now you're warm before too long, and off you go. I know. My wife used to work. She had her early hours. She'd be up at 5:30 in the morning getting around. I know at 6:15 I'd wake up, put the computer on my lap, and I'd start going through uni courses or what I was required to do for that day in class. It was very, very handy because when I was walking in the class at 9:30 in the morning, I was well up on the subjects that I need to speak to on that day. I think it's important too if you want to become a morning person to look at your diet. And drinking alcohol. Would you aware that drinking alcohol actually severely disrupts your sleeping patterns?
Yeah, I've had a couple of big nights and I sleep horribly.
Well, in drug and alcohol training and drug and alcohol counselling, they researched the sleeping patterns of people who consume alcohol, and they refer to it as rapid onset, short duration sleep patterns.
Yep.
So you drop into deep, deep sleep rapidly, much faster than you would normally, going through the alpha process and things on beta and alpha processes. And you're in that deep sleep for a short period of time, then you rapidly come out of it again. That's why when you do have a big night, your sleeping cycle tends to be around about 2 to 3 hours, as opposed to the 4.5 hour sleeping cycle. So you don't get that fulfilling sleep actually And not only that, once you stop consuming alcohol, your body, within a short period of time, I think it's about 20 minutes, starts to go into withdrawal, and you feel terrible. The only way to subdue that terrible feeling is to keep drinking. But once you stop drinking, you go into withdrawal, and that is commonly known as a hangover. Anyway, you can try some of those things. Not drinking fluids after 6 p.m. will give you a better sleep. Exercise, and turn off any lights or screens in your room whilst you're sleeping will give you a more sounder sleep. So therefore, you will be more inclined to when you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get out of bed and get productive.
Yeah, like if you feel very tired in the morning, apparently eating very little helps. Almost fasting. Have very little food so you avoid an afternoon crash of feeling tired or whatever, which is interesting because when you're full, you go into a food coma. So if you're eating as soon as you get up, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, correct. What do you think is going to happen?
So eat very little.
Yes, I've been really getting a lot out of fasting recently.
Yep, same.
And the more you practice, the easier it gets. Of course, I'm on an extremely low-carb diet. I have been now for quite some time. I might have spoken about that before. And when you minimise or reduce or eliminate carbohydrates from your diet and sugars, your hunger goes away and it becomes controllable. I'm not that insatiably hungry all the time. It's quite amazing. And with that process, fasting becomes a reality, which is quite good. We'll speak about that another time. Would you like to speak about that one time, Rem?
Yeah, of course.
I think that's great because a lot of benefits to fasting. We've got to be a little bit careful because there is some medical concerns. But, yes. Anyway, listen, let's move on to our final question for today. It's only a short one. Here we go. You ready for this one?
Yep.
When you've mucked up in the past, how do you get over it and move on?
Oh, yeah, I learnt this. I may have mentioned this before as well, but the first thing that I did to make me get over some, I guess, call them regrets, but I don't regret anything, but you know what I mean.
It's just not good to regret.
Yeah, it's like a regret. One, I had to kind of reason with myself, I guess, and understand why it happened.
Yep.
Could be anything. And then forgiveness was the first thing I did.
Forgive who?
It wasn't forgiving other people. It was forgiving me for it.
Good.
I did this, but I forgive myself for it because I learnt, and now I can move on. People don't think about that.
Yes.
So don't forgive other people. Forgive yourself.
Yeah, I think you forgive yourself first, definitely, because then you can start working through the process to forgive others and forgive others. If you can manage that, I think that's a most worthwhile process to do that, because then you won't hang on to any animosity for that other person. You forgive them. Try and walk a mile in their shoes and try and understand why they took that action, right? But ultimately, forgiving yourself is, I think, the first step in moving on, in getting over it, moving on. The other thing that I think before forgiving yourself, Rem, I think a very important step is, and please correct me if you feel differently about this, is accepting what's happened. Accept it. You can't change it, right? You can't unring a doorbell, right? You can't change what's happened in the past, right? So you may as well accept it.
That's definitely right.
It's no good ripping your hair out, really, at the end of the day, yelling and screaming and kicking the dog, right? You're only going to hurt your foot and hurt the dog. Or does it hurt the dog and hurt your foot? Doesn't matter. Anyway, if you get what I mean,
yep.
Right? So I think accepting, and that's the hard bit, we don't accept it first and foremost, and that's what prolongs it, which makes it worse, makes the situation worse, which gives you, then you have the inability to move on.
Yeah, so it's like you reject even thinking about it because you haven't accepted what's happened.
You're still caught up in that, that frustration and that emotion of all sorts of stuff, anger, shame, fear, failure, everything, right? Accept it. Okay, it's done. Once you take it on, okay, done. I accept that. Yep. I did that, or it happened, or how it, whatever. It's stopping you moving on. Then you forgive yourself for your role in it. Then you can forgive others, right? And then move forward. I would recommend you don't do the same thing again.
Yeah, of course. Learn from it. That's the thing.
If you do the same thing again and get caught in the same situation again, obviously there's a lesson there that you're not picking up. Now, we can talk about patterns in people's lifestyles at the moment. People have patterns in their lifestyle, right, in their lives. Same thing turns up over and over and over again. You know, you've seen it with in domestic violence situations, where a lady will go with a gentleman they get themselves into a situation that results in domestic violence. And they'll leave that person because it's too dangerous, and they'll move on to the next relationship, and they'll find themselves in the exact same relationship again. That pattern that keeps on coming up. I recommend that if you have a pattern in your life like that, you have a serious look at that, a big, deep dive on that, because there's a lesson there that you're not picking up. There's cues and there's hints there that you really need to have a look at if you want to break that pattern. You might be happy with that pattern.
Yeah.
Right? That might be a pattern of, I don't know, I've got a pattern of putting, $50 in the bank each week, and I've done very well over the past 10 years. They might be good patterns. Have a look at those too, because you might be able to duplicate them in the other areas of your life. I'm talking about negative patterns. If there's negative patterns, there might be a lesson there that you're not picking up, and the answers will be in those experiences and those patterns forming. Sometimes it takes us a long time to identify those patterns because they need a lot of time to play out.
Yeah.
Right? But some of these patterns will become very, very evident when you come into, say, your 30s and 40s and 50s. There'll be patterns there that'll just keep on raising their head with a monotonous regularity. Well, there's lessons there that you potentially aren't picking up or don't want to pick up. So if you turn a blind eye and live in denial, that pattern will just keep on coming back. You'll just end up finding yourself in those situations that you don't like repeatedly, right? But if you don't like them, identify them and look deep into them of where that goes wrong.
That's what I was going to mention too, is participate in some mindful activities to lean into the experience.
Yes.
To better accept it.
Yes.
And understand it. Lean into it.
Yep.
See what happens.
Yep. Dissect it. Pull it apart. Spend a bit of time on it. Write it down. What do they call them? Is it a progress map? What's the ideas map?
Ideas map. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And write it all down in a bit of a map and see what's going on and how that comes about, because the cues will be quite clear and the learning will be quite clear. And if you just make a couple of small adjustments and have a bit of conviction about those adjustments, stand into them. No, I'm not going to do that again. Right. And when you're tempted to do that again, and you will be, and your instant response will be to do it. Let's do it. Recognize that. That's what the process does. It gives you the ability to recognize those triggers and cues, act against them, right, and therefore you'll change the pattern. And move forward in a positive manner. You'll actually grow from that experience.
I like that.
You like that?
Yep.
All right, well, it's just a short one for today. I just wanted to answer a couple of quick questions around confidence and around, some behaviours about getting out of bed a bit earlier and things along the lines of putting your head in the right place, mindset and belief systems and things along those lines. We're going to have a couple of episodes around, 5 important questions around internal growth, personal growth, goal setting and things along those lines, and hope they're helpful. Rem, is there anything you'd like to say before we go?
No, I'm pretty much all done. Said everything that come to mind.
Fantastic. Now, if you want to talk to us or send us a question or would like to hear us speak about something, just send us an email at aimedmen@gmail.com, or you can find us on Facebook, or you can find me, Noel C. Blundell, on Facebook, or Aimed Motivation Empowerment Network on Facebook, and send us a line, or you can contact us through our website, aimedmen.com.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Got it all down.
And I'd like to thank you all for being with us today. And we look forward to talking to you again. Take care. Look after yourself. And we'll chat soon.
Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.